This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. If you have a dog, you're going to appreciate this. We're going to talk about one dog in particular that really was an inspiration for other people and dogs. I'm going to say that too. It's the journey of Riley and the journey of a service animal. A lot of things to take away from the story of Riley, which we're going to get to, and so much more today with an animal psychologist. She is, that's what I'm going to call her. She owns the Animal Psychology Center. She helps with training, behavior, and also training and certification of service dogs. She is Katherine Andrews, and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you. I had a phone call from a wonderful lady who lives in the South that she said it took her several months to call me because I adopted a dog to her, sold her a dog actually that I had trained. That was a service dog. He was a giant German Shepherd, about 110 pounds, super handsome guy. It just gives me chills to think of him because he was so handsome and so he had such a presence about him. Regal is what I called him. His name was Riley, and I wanted so much to keep him because he was most of my pack leaders throughout the years have been females, as in nature. Females are your pack leaders: whales, horses, wolves. But Riley was an amazing pack leader. And I could not keep him, though, because he had a very strong prey drive, and I have cats. And when he was in the house, he was always kind of other focused on the cats, and he would drool. And it was an uncomfortable thing for the cats and for him. And so finally came to the conclusion after working with him for about 6 months that it was never going to go away because some dogs have just a high prey drive. And it's not a good, some dogs and some people are just never going to be a good fit. But I loved him, and I loved his presence and his strength and his character. And I found this woman who I knew he would be a good match for because she was going through a really hard time in her life. She had lost her husband, and her son was living with her, and he was dying, and there was nothing she could do about it because he had a drug problem and had pretty much ruined his body, and all he could do, the doctor said, was stay on drugs and wait to die. And she wanted this dog for him so that he could have the last 3 to 6 months of his life, have this dog to comfort him. And then the dog was going to be her dog. So we set that up. And she was not able to come and get Riley because she was his caretaker, and he was in pretty bad shape, her son. I got to know him and her before Riley went. But her son came and got Riley, and everyone who met him just immediately fell in love. He was the type of individual that when you met him, you felt his strength and his presence, and he like elevated you to another place of strength and beingness. He was just like that, and people were drawn to him. Everybody was. Her son came and met him here, and after being with him just 10 minutes, he was like, "Katherine, I don't know if I can give this dog to my mom. Like, I'm in love." And I'm like, "Tell me about it. I'm going to do the ugly cry. Get ready." When he leaves here. And the next day he called me from the hotel room. They were getting ready to leave. And he said, "This dog is just magnificent." He said, everybody that meets him just like gets so much from him. You can tell by the interaction, what he gives to these people, and how anybody who's just walking along can connect with him, and they're just immediately transformed into this place of such deep peace. It's almost like Gandhi. Like you see people on film meeting Gandhi, and it feels like that. He was like a Gandhi. And so he takes him on the plane, and of course he tells me he was perfect on the plane. Like everybody was in love with him. The flight attendants, everybody wanted to sit next to him. I'm like, yeah, being with Riley is definitely like being with Gandhi or a celebrity. Everybody wants to touch him. They want to be near him because they can feel his presence. And so brought him to his mom and his brother who was dying. And of course, he worked his magic with them, and his brother made a transition and really died at peace with Riley there. And then when his brother died, he became a service dog for their mom for about 3 years. And she just called me
Hmm.
recently, and she said, I wanted to call you when he died, but I couldn't. I couldn't talk. I couldn't. And she said, I knew you were going to cry. and and she said, I just couldn't take it. But yeah, we cried together and talked about how wonderful he was, and had a
We
really nice
You
conversation.
identify something we've never talked about. And this is my belief. There's others that believe it too. Curious how you feel. The energy. Everything is energy. We're all energy. We're a certain vibration. We want to strive for the highest vibration, which is up in the territory of love. And it just seems that Riley vibrated very highly and exuded love, and people picked up
Absolutely.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah. And
I don't want to say he was
he
just a
had,
dog, but he was just a dog,
no,
but he had more.
he had a lot more. And some people are like that. There are
Mhm.
some dogs like that.
Yes. Yes.
I met an iguana at the San Diego Zoo. I don't know who is at the front of the San Diego Zoo, but many years ago when I was there, they had an iguana who greeted people. And there's a segue when you come into the San Diego Zoo that looks like a triangle. And they have this magnificent iguana who was up in this big tree, and he was so close you could almost touch him. And he would strike this magnificent pose like this. And I remember going right up to him. You know how you and I have talked about how when I go to a zoo, it's a very busy thing for me because everybody wants to talk to me because we're on that animal channel. And they're like, hey, look who's here. And I
Yep.
talk to everybody and I'm just exhausted. And this iguana, I went right up to him, and he was striking this magnificent pose like this. He didn't even really look at me. And I walked up to him very respectfully and I said, wow, who are you? And you know what he said? He said, I am an ambassador for my kind. And I said, yes, I can see that. And we had this conversation. He said, I'm here to educate people about reptiles and iguanas and for them to learn that we are sediment feeling beings, and we can spread joy and love too, just like, fluffy little puppies and kittens. And I'm like, wow, that is such a powerful message and a hard one to convey because of, you don't look fluffy and cuddly. And he's like, yeah, right. I'm pretty magnificent. And I'm like, yeah, you are. Wow. Yeah.
What what qualities in an animal make the best service animals? Doesn't have to be a dog, could be an iguana, doesn't matter.
The ability to connect and have compassion. It would be the same like for your caregivers, your nurses, I like to say physicians. I think physicians are getting better at being more people oriented. They didn't used to be. They let the nurses do that, and now they're getting
Mm.
better at that because they're having to. We're demanding that. We're saying, you can't be an asshole and take care of me. And
How funny you say that. Let's go there. I picked up on that, a number of years ago, where I would rather have the nurse practitioner deal with them than the doctor. And I get
Yeah.
it. I'm not taking anything away from doctors. It's a challenge right
No,
now.
no, there are some that are amazing, right? But
Yeah, but you know what? They're pressed for time. The national average is 11 minutes to say
yeah.
hi, goodbye, figure out what's going on with you, hear your story, and then throw you, some meds.
Right.
Kind of
Still
it.
not a reason to be a jerk, though.
No, I got you. I got you. But
Yeah.
it's part. I think it's partly a product of the system where they're overworked. They have to get so many squeezed in an hour because
Partly.
of insurance and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there's also empathy that needs to come along with that. And
Right.
many get burned out where you have a fresher nurse practitioner.
That's
Where
true too.
yeah,
Yeah.
hmm,
Yeah, it is a high burnout profession. I was in the human nursing profession for a while back in the day. I know about that. But yeah, I would say the empathy, compassion, and also, the willingness to want the job. I always tell people, because they'll say, will my dog be a good service dog? I'll say, well, we'll see when we do the evaluation. He has to want the job, or she has to want the job, because that's something I can't control.
Hmm. Do you know, because of your experience and everything you've witnessed, do you know right away or in short time that the animal before you, yeah, that's a good service. That's a good service animal. Either or you're communicating with them, they're telling you, yeah, I want to do this, and then you see, what they their traits and things like that. Do you know?
Yes,
Hmm. I figured that.
because animals are honest. They don't they don't lie, and they don't say things because they think they should, or they're not attached to the story or any of that. Yeah.
Sort of like people.
Oh, people. Yeah, that whole asshole thing has to do more with people than with animals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Really. Yeah. Yeah.
What did
See, I
you
don't,
ever
I don't
have?
see, I don't see people as being at the top of that whole intelligence pyramid that we view ourselves at. I see that there are animals that have a more of a corner market on things like unconditional love and compassion than people do, honestly, in my
Have you
opinion,
have
my humble
you,
opinion.
Catherine? Have you ever had a situation where what appeared to be a good service animal turned out not to be?
I can't think of one right now. I really
Hmm.
can't. No, because
Hmm.
like I said, um, they don't lie. They tell the truth, and and I can talk to them pretty clearly, and I ask them if they want the job and if they're comfortable, and this is what it's going to take, and they already know why they're there before they get there, and pretty much I'm not really telling them anything they don't already know anyway, because animals are so intuitive. So you know, no. I mean, the iguana at the zoo was there for a reason. He asked to be there. They put him there. It was him implanting that idea in the zookeepers. They didn't come up with that idea. It was him that had you know what I'm saying? That was his idea. That was his doing. That was his soul
Wow.
speaking. It wasn't the zookeepers. They
Do
were just following his lead. They didn't know it probably, but that was him.
do most animals, if not all of them, want a job? They're always looking for, call it their purpose, but they're ready to go. You want to hire them? Use the word hire. No matter what it is, whether it's to guard the house, whether it's to be a service animal, are they looking for work?
Yes. Yeah, they're like us. They're biologically engineered to do a job and to work. And um, yeah, they don't want to be sitting in a kennel, being well, first thing I think of is a research lab. It's a horrible life for anybody. And they don't want to be in a shelter. They don't want to be in a backyard. When I was a kid, I rescued dogs that were chained up in backyards and found homes for them. Nobody wants to be isolated. Nobody wants to be discarded or not be a part of something. And yeah, having a job is important for
Hmm.
everybody.
100%. And even more so with, well, the older folks, where they still have a purpose. And I look at it that way with animals too. Is there a difference between age, things you hear? Do you ever hear a dog say to you, yeah, it's getting rougher for me, man. My hind legs, my hip, whatever, doesn't feel the same. Do they ever, I don't know, bitch about things, complain about
Complain
stuff?
about things, but no, they just see it as a part of life, and
Hmm.
they don't fear death like we do. They see it as a transition. They're ready when it ready for them, and um yeah, no, they don't complain about things like that. They really don't. Um somebody came up here to see me, and I was just gonna show her to you. She's
Oh,
our newest little rescue here. She's got one blue eye and one brown eye, and her name is Venus. Hey, say hi, Venus. Can you see her?
yeah, oh, totally. Like
She is
sweet.
a Belgian. Yeah, she's so sweet. She's a Belgian Malinois, Border Collie cross, which is a super good high Venus. super good choice for or genetics for a service dog. She's going to be a service dog. She's so smart. I've only had her just a few weeks and she's already like passed her first test. She's just so great.
Where did she
She's a
come from?
year and a half. Oh, this girl that had her in an apartment and was leaving her alone all day. And she was getting into things because, I mean, she's by herself all day. So I said, bring her, you know, and after a few days, I was just like, oh my gosh, this dog just needs to be doing a job with somebody because she's got, well, Malinois and Border Collies are the two smartest breeds in the world, and she's got great genetics for working and for intelligence. And so, when you have a hybrid like that, your chances of having good qualities are even heightened, and she's going to be remarkable. Now she's small; she's only 35 pounds, so she's going to be easy to um, easy to take places, because she's pretty compact. She's really
Hmm.
pretty too. I'm gonna have her on the website probably in another week and put her on Facebook. I've got somebody operating our Facebook account, so um, people will be able to get to see her if anybody's interested in making her their companion because she's gonna be spectacular. She's really a special girl.
Boy, that's tempting.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
she's nice.
even when you picked her up, she just had this look like, yeah, here I am. I'm here.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, she
I'm
heard us
cute.
talking and she came over like real respectful, kind of like, hey. And I was like, come on, let's meet Steve. And yeah, she was just wanting to say hi to you. So
Who's your
that's
other
what she
friend
was doing.
that walked in that's got the red jacket on?
Oh, that's my dog, Hera. She's the Connie Corso. Hera. I don't know if you can see her. I'll try to. So that is Venus,
Yep, yep.
and Hera is. I'll try to do this without
Yeah, I can.
disconnect.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Hera's the Connie Corso. For me, I always have to have a dog that's like a kind of a brute because um I've been kidnapped and I like a dog that men look at and go, oh no. And that gives me enough confidence to go anywhere. And I feel like I'm never going to get kidnapped again. But all Hera has to do is look at a guy that's looking at me and they're like, I'm out of here. And that's perfect for me. So you don't have that problem. But here's Venus again. Can you see her? She's like tan and white and black. And uh
Wow.
yeah, she's so sweet. And she's like so smart because um she got in bed with us the other day and she was all excited and everything and I was really tired and I just looked at her and I said, if you're gonna be in bed with us, because otherwise they have to go to a pillow bed, you're gonna have to lay down. She went to the end of the bed, she laid down. Never said a word all night, Steve. Laid there until I was ready to get up because I get up at like 4:30 in the morning. As soon as I got up, she picked her ears up and waited for me to say, okay, let's go outside. She's like such a good girl. Like she really wants to do right.
Wow.
It's so
Wow.
sweet.
How old is she?
A year and a half. Yeah, here she is. She knows we're talking
Yeah,
about
if I was
her.
close to South Dakota, I might be throwing the
Well,
back of my
see,
Jeep.
they have there's people that do shipping that I know and it's not that expensive. We could ship her to you. Yeah.
He is like so adorable. Like
Yes, he's
this-
just, I mean, so smart. Like people say, my dog is 5-year-old kid smart, and sometimes they are, but a lot of times they're not. I never tell them. But this one, and she's only a year and a half, like she reads my mind constantly and knows exactly what I want. I don't think I've scolded her or even disciplined her the whole 2 weeks. I mean, she's gonna just fly through her tests and she's gonna be one of these dogs like Riley that you're gonna want to build a statue to when she's gone because she's just so cool.
Mm.
And Hera like immediately liked her right away because Hera helps me. Like she disciplines dogs too. And Hera is like, I don't have to discipline her, mom. She's totally fine. I'm like, I know, right?
And she knows you're talking about her too. That's so
I
funny.
know she does.
We don't even
Every
have to
time
mention her name. She
she
just
comes
knows
right
like,
back.
oh yeah, let me
Okay.
come back. Let me jump
Am I
back
still
in.
in the conversation? I'll come right back. Yeah,
That is so
because
funny.
I have the
Uh,
podcast, like, no one bothers me, right? They don't, do they?
there she is. Um, we're just about out of time. Just, great talking about Riley and all of this. And Riley kind of set the stage for mentioning other dogs and species that might be suitable for a service animal, which is something you do. You
Yeah.
train them. You can do it
Yeah.
virtually. Would you also help with the filing? I don't even know how that works, but that for the certification part of it.
I help with everything. I help with all the legalities and forevermore, once you are certified with me, I do all your paperwork for airlines, hospitals, all of that stuff. And I
Wow.
do all your recurrent training. And we do it either through Zoom or in person. So yeah, you're kind of covered. Yep.
Cool. Ah,
Yeah.
animalpsychologycenter.com. Catherine, thank you for sharing Riley.
You're
Really,
welcome. Thank
it,
you for thank you for listening.
oh,
Yeah,
and your other sweeties over there. She's
you know,
back. Look,
you know,
she keeps
yeah,
popping back in. Like, oh yeah, I'm here.
yeah.
Just in case you need me, I'm right over here.
I know. It's so
Adorable.
cute. Shorty named her Venus, which is like such a heart-based name. It's really sweet.
Mm. All right,
Venus.
we got to run.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. We'll
Next
talk
time.
soon. Okay. Thank you.
See ya.
All right.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.